Hey, good morning, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of December 3rd, 2024. We'll give a quick introduction and jump right into it. We have with us in person Ryan Fauché, the Economic Development Officer. We have our CEO, Mitch Duval. We have our Assistant CEO, Dominic Lemoine, myself, Chris Ewan. Online, we have Councillor Jason Bodnarchuk.
Morning.
Councillor Jeanine Boulanger.
Morning.
Councillor Joel Lemoine.
Morning.
And Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Good morning.
Into it. So I will start with item number 1, meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Boulanger, thank you. Questions before we open the meeting?
Not here.
And we will call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-all. Thank you. I'll open the meeting at 9:01 a.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you. Questions, changes to the agenda? Council's good as is?
Yep.
Thank you. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? It's carried 5-0. Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Bodnarchuk. Wait, Mr. CEO.
Last regular council meeting was held November 20th, whereby council heard 3 variation applications, also passed readings regarding a few bylaws. First reading regarding the fire suppression bylaw, organizational bylaw, procedural bylaw, and the fees bylaw, as well as the parking bylaw. And they gave second and third readings to the loan for the CDC. They also released 2 letter of credits and also approved 2 resolutions regarding the Manitoba Rural Application Fund, which closed yesterday.
Thank you. Questions from council, comments, edits? No. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried 5-all. Thank you. Item 4, committee reports and minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Committee report submitted by Councillor Bodnarchuk regarding the Reach-Out Library for your review.
Thank you. Council, any comments? Councillor Bodnarchuk, anything to add?
Nope.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried 5-all. Thank you. Moving on to 6.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelletier. Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Batch number 19438 in the amount of 12,400. Nothing to report there.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions?
Nope.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried 5-all. Thank you. 6.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine. Councillor Boulanger moves it, and second by Councillor Bodnarchuk. Sorry, I thought it was the one.
3 batches, 19445 tax refund in the amount of 10,000. Batch 19446 EFTs in the amount of 41,800, and batch 19447 in the amount of 159,000. For the EFTs, due to the the mail strike, we are trying to push more invoices being paid by electronic fund transfers. So we're trying to eliminate the amount of mail that we're sending out. So in that batch, we do have MEB contributions of 35,000. In the larger batch, there's no summary that was given to council. That's because there was only 3 invoices that were over $10,000, that being diesel, per diem check for daycares, and the receiver general check. So those are all pretty standard.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions?
No, thanks. Thank you, Mr. CAO, for getting back to my email about that. I appreciate the quick response for my question.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried 5-all. Thank you. 6.2.1, council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Boulanger.
Council indemnities for the month of November a little bit up just because of the fact there was an AMM conference and ours were representative in that field.
Just a reflection, mine weren't in there.
Yours were not in there, and Councillor Pelche's were not in there because he was likely working on the part of Eco West.
Yeah, I don't think mine were in there at all. Like I don't have any indemnities at all because I couldn't access it, but I'll be adding it next month if council's wondering why it's empty. Okay, anything else from council?
Just mine will be in there for this month for AMM.
Oh, okay.
Sarah on behalf of council.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried, thank you. 6.3 payroll to be approved by the mover. Councilor Lemoine, second. Councilor Pelche.
Basically a little bit of administration banking hours there and very minimal OT hours on the part of Public Works.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions? No, call for the question. All those in favor? It's carried 5-all, thank you. Moving on to 9.1, bylaw 4, 2024 fire suppression, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger.
So no changes from the first. So you'll have a copy of what is being proposed for second reading.
Council, I'll open up for discussion. We talked about it once. Is there anything to add, edit, change, comment on?
Do we have a plan for communications to get this out?
We will once we have third reading.
Okay, yeah, well, the fireworks is gonna be a big one that people are likely not aware of.
Thank you, Councillor Peltier. Anything else from council? No, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. Thank you. 9.2 bylaw 4, 2024 fire suppression, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Peltier.
Same song and dance.
Final thoughts? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried 5-all. Thank you.
We will put into plan a communication release for the fire suppression bylaw.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. 9.3 bylaw 10, 2024 organizational, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So some minor changes from the first reading in yellow. So for the Winnipeg Metro region, we've appointed Councillor Shane Pelche on that board and no alternate. As far as the Red River Health Council, that has been corrected. And we've appointed Councillor Lemoine and Councillor Bondarchuk as the alternate.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, any edits or last minute changes or comments on this bylaw? None? Don't call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 9.4 bylaw 10, 2024 organizational, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelche. Last call. Anything to add, council? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? None. That is carried. Thank you. 9.5 bylaw 11, 2024 procedure, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Pelche. Thank you.
No changes from first reading.
Thank you. Open up for council discussion. Council, have you made anyone, or have you, do you want any changes, comments, questions on this?
Not here. It looked like it was just a straight cleanup from a few years ago.
Thank you. I'll call for the question. All in favor? Thank you. Yeah, we are very delayed. Opposed? None. That is carried. 9.6 bylaw 11, 24 procedures, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bondarchuk. Final call, council. Any final comments? Being none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. 9.7 bylaw 13, 2024 parking, second reading. Do I have a mover? Counselor Pelletier, second by Counselor Lemoine.
I don't believe there's any changes. I didn't see any highlights on that second reading portion, so I'm assuming we are still good to go from the original.
Open up for council. Council, did you have any changes or additions you'd like to make or edits?
I wouldn't mind if we'd actually put a map in as one of the appendix or schedules. Schedule A
Just looking
is
for too.
physical descriptions and addresses. It'd probably be a little less confusing for counselors and maybe ratepayers if it would be a map attached to that as well.
Is that an amendment or just an addition?
We will just add the mapping to the.
Okay. Council's good with just the addition later for the map?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 9.8 bylaw 13/2024 parking third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger second. Councillor Pelletier, thank you. Last call. Anything to go? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 9.9 bylaw 14/2024 building first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk second. Councillor Pelletier.
So as this is first reading for council, just a few things. There's a lot of little minor cleanups that were being done throughout the whole document. Two things that we've added, or actually four things that we've added. 4.2.1.5 deals with lot gradings for parking lots, so that will now be part of the building plans to be submitted when there's a complex going up, so that way we know that proper drainage is being in effect. 4.2.1.6 deals with outside buildings that come into the municipality. They will need to be inspected, or engineering is required, then that could be put part as the building permit process. 4.2.4 talks about occupant load. I'm not a building inspector, so if there's any questions regarding that, please let me know. Section 7 deals with valuation, and I think because we have a new Part 3 building inspector, mostly to do with commercial, we need to incorporate fees into our fees bylaw, but also into our building bylaw. So this takes into account Part 3 inspections.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, open up for questions.
Mr. Chair, for 4216 for when somebody's bringing an outside building, do we want to put any fees there if we have to go inspect it on site outside the RM?
I think our fees bylaw gives us the capabilities to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Pelletier. Anything else from council?
No, that whole section 7 in yellow is newly added or to be reviewed?
It's newly added, to be reviewed, all of the above, to
Yeah,
be
okay.
included as part of the bylaw.
Okay.
Anything else from council? I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you. 10.1.1 2025 emergency plan. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelletier.
Our EMO coordinator, again, has been reflected over the years and updating the emergency plan accordingly. This is a requirement from EMO, Emergency Measures Organization, to have an updated plan. So he has done that accordingly. In the shared notes, just touch base a little bit on what's been updated. Nothing major or significant at this point in time.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions?
I will likely reach out to Harold, but if we can get on the telephone list, MMF has a citizen department that helps their people as well. So if we can get them on a contact list as far as when something's going down.
We will include that for the 2025 changes
Okay.
immediately.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Hopefully-
Just, sorry, just the plan, it's not attached, so we've got it somewhere else, I'm assuming.
Yes, basically it's quite a lengthy document with a whole bunch of different tabs in it, referring to different sections. In the shared notes, it's just showing what sections were changed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. 11.2.1 Saint Rat Roseau Watershed District. Do I have a mover?
Anything below other,
Oh,
sorry, it's received as information, yes.
Oh, I don't have that on the back. Sorry. Oh, correspondence and council. Sorry. Never mind. Disregard that, council. 13, adjournment. Do I have a,
Picked over his presentation.
what number was he?
6.
Second,
5.1.
five.
Sorry. Forgot about the most important person in the room. I'm so embarrassed. We are moving to we are moving to our economic development officer before adjournment, and he's gonna take it away. We don't need to move or second because he's just presenting, right? Go ahead, Mr. EDO.
Okay, and the technology works wonderful. So thank you guys for the opportunity just to present quarterly update to you as to what's been going on in the economic development department. Most of the activities in Q4 have circled around about 6 different areas. The Business Expo, our AV fleet and car share, some interactions with AMBM and SEDEM, as well as RMED and the MIPIM conference, the Community Energy Efficiency Program, and networking and conferences that we've been involved with. On the Business Expo front, so we are confirmed for January 22nd and 23rd at the TC Energy Center in Ildeshane. We have a strong list of speakers there featuring David Chilton as well as a number of others. We're basically about full as far as exhibitors go. Right now, we're really pushing now to get the sales out. We have a target to get before year end as well as into January. Any additional sponsors we can add to it, and really looking at advertising and the personal network messaging out from everyone to the businesses they know in the community to attend. On the fleet EV and car share, we did finally get a response from the Rural Transport Solutions Fund. So we had applied to them in conjunction with some of the other municipalities. Unfortunately, it was not selected for funding. So we're going ahead with the funding that we currently have. Next step, we will be looking at additional vehicles and charger rollouts, as well as furthering our partnership with the U of M and St. Boniface. So that's a carpooling for students. Usage to date on the 2 vehicles we have. So we have just over 58,000 kilometers on the 2 trucks year to date. That's the equivalent of 134,000 kgs of CO2 eliminated and fuel savings to the RM of just under 15,000. We are pursuing a new funding application. So this is, I call it RTSF B2 for an electric bus or shuttle fleet. So that will probably happen in the next 12 months based on the current cycle time. AMBM and SEDEM. So with AMBM is part of a French immigration program via PrairieScan. So they did a recruiting and business transition survey throughout all the businesses in Richaud, as well as Taché, de Salaberry, and St. Pierre. Excuse me. They're looking to come for a delegation to council in January, so they want to present their findings. They'll also be involved at the expo as part of activities around it with that group. We're also looking through PrairieScan at funding for French Incubation Hub. So this is through SEDEM. They're looking at using Richaud as a pilot. They would provide funding for half to a full FTE here, and the cost to us is providing the space. So that's to help support our initiative on that side of the building. With RMED, we've been involved for the last 2 years with a investment expo over in Cannes, France, as part of what's called MIPIM. Working with RMED, they've been taking the St. Agathe Industrial Park or the Riel Park as the exhibit there. So working with them to help, I'll call it, develop their presentation, do a better job of bringing in contacts, tracking, as well as looking at a application to Export Canada to further develop that, to take, I'll call it larger key properties to that presentation. On the community energy efficiency side, so Uriel has been out and about. We've held 2 community sessions for insulation within St. Adolphe and Ile-des-Chênes. As well, we went out and offered a free insulation inspection. So we had 40 residents sign up to that. That was done through Connect. The contractor is currently going through those. 30 have been completed to date, and we're gathering data based on the feedback of the different inspections. Efficiency Manitoba sent a postcard for the program and introducing Uriel to all of the residents in the municipality. So he is seeing inbound calls and inquiries on the different programs. He attended the St. Adolphe Market office opening event, and he's been focusing right now on meeting with some of the St. Adolphe and IDC seniors groups. As far as activities outside the RM, so between himself and myself, we actually did 5 conferences in the last couple of months. Emily, which is an accelerating digital agriculture. They have a research farm just north of the city. I just listed some of the key contacts we've made there. So that's really getting awareness of the municipality as well as getting information on these different groups. Attending the Manitoba Chamber Breakfast, Manitoba Forage Alliance in Brandon, the Manitoba Environmental Industry Association recently, and all have led to, I'll call it, good contacts and opportunities for us in the future. Future events on the horizon, FCM Housing Conference, the MIPIM one in the spring, as well as additional chamber, and as well as MANSI, which is another Manitoba Sustainable Energy Association. Any questions or thoughts?
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Council, any comments or questions on this?
Just going back to the fleet EV and car share. You speak off the cuff quite well with dollar values on that, Ryan. If you could throw together a cheat card, I'll call it.
Yep.
I get questions all the time about the RM owning Ford Lightnings, and I'm not nearly as eloquent explaining how much savings we're actually seeing on these. So if you have something that you could throw together, and I'd love to be able to share that with other ratepayers and the like.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Go, Jeanette. Yep.
Yeah, just further to that, what Mr. Pelche is saying about the savings. And maybe it can't be figured out, but it does cost to charge them. Is there any way to get a figure on that? Yes, we're saving $14,876 on fuel, but there's a cost to charge them.
Yeah, cost to charge for the number of mileage we've got on them right now is about $1,100.
Okay.
But yeah, I can quantify both for you guys, and I'll put that into just a quick short, I'll call it summary.
Yeah. There's a part on Hydro site, I think, where you can actually type in how much kilowatts an hour it'll take in. Councillor Boulanger, I use it for my car. It identifies how much usage you're actually using in your home. Mine was like $51 a month or something. So.
Okay. Good to know.
Anything else, Councillor Lemoine? Go ahead.
Yeah, just to add there, Ryan, one of the sessions at AMM last week were in regards to investing in Manitoba. So we do know of or can access some of our local contacts that have the Invest in Canada local contact here in Manitoba, as well as, well, Export Development Canada. So for our existing companies looking to export, and also this session was kind of ran by the World Trade Center. So André Brain was running that too. So I guess for existing entrepreneurs that are out there, or the lure of new investments into our municipality, at least we have some go-to people that could also assist in all this.
Oh, you bet.
Perfect. Council, anything else? Just a question on the bus, rural bus thing.
Yeah.
Are you sharing that grant? Like, are you looking at partnering with other municipalities, or that just going to be through Rickshaw?
Depending on the, I'll call it, criteria of the application. So we have talked with Piney as far as starting something as far as them and coming up 210.
Right.
As well as potentially to Salaberry and St. Pierre being funneled into St. Boniface College. So we'll start locally and then be driven by the criteria.
Just curious to be more success that way, because getting a bus is probably pretty hard for one municipality, so. Okay, excellent. Nothing else from council?
No,
Good
it's great.
work.
Yeah, good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, after that ignorant slip of mine, we'll go to adjournment. Item 13, adjournment. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine. Final thoughts or questions? No, call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. I will close the meeting at 9:26 a.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Stop recording.